Hi folks, Sean Cordisco here. Round 10 of the U.S. Women's Chess Championship 2015. Played in the beautiful Chess Club and Scholastic Center in St. Louis. Between Nemcova as white and Nazi Paikidze as black. Katerina's been playing great chess. Great chess. And she needs to win this game. One more round to go, if even going to be close to winning the championship, away from Irina Krush. So let's get to it. It's going to be a classical Caro-Kann. Nemcova is white, Paikidze is black. So let's get to it. We all pretty much know the Caro by heart here. This is the classical variation, so you're going to see some weird movement here. F4. I kind of like that move already. This bishop's in a good spot. This pawn will come up here. This bishop still has scope. Both of white's knights are on the king side. But black's in pretty good shape too. Very solid. Three minor pieces here. This piece will eventually go here, and black will castle. Maybe I ought to start playing Caro-Kann instead of my usual Scandinavian. Nah, I'll still play it. Queen d7. King goes to h1. Castles. Bishop b3. Still doesn't want to make that c3 move yet for white. c5. f5. Bishop takes, knight takes, pawn takes, d takes, knight g4. Of course, she doesn't want to take the queen on d1 and help her develop her a bishop, or a rook, excuse me. And white doesn't want to take black's queen because a knight will take, retake, and develop the knight for free. So that's why these pieces sit. Bishop g1 is to get the bishop out of the fray. Doesn't want to trade it for that knight. Wants to keep the dark squared bishop. g6. Computer off screen shows about a third of a pawn advantage for white. We'll call it even. Bishop d5. Interesting. Computer thought that knight to f4 was to be seriously considered. It's a good spot for that knight. Queen c7. b4. Here we go. Knight c6. Threatening the b pawn. Rook b1. Rook a to d8. There come the big pieces that are coming into play. c4. Just to lock in that bishop there. Black has no light squared bishops. The only way they can get that taken is by the knight, or sacrifice the exchange. b6. Knight f4. B takes, B takes. Boy, I'll tell you, starting to heat up a little bit, or hot up as the English say. And those of you that are wondering why the bishop won't take, don't forget about this bishop here tucked in the corner. Rook b8. Rook takes. Queen can't take because it'll drop the knight on c6. So knight has to take. h3 to kick the knight. Knight goes to e5. And rook e1. Let's take a little pause here. We've been going kind of quick. This is a tough game. What's white going to do with those double pawns? That's just horrible. Absolutely horrible, this setup here. Yeah, granted, she's got a two-pawn advantage on the queen side, but what good is the damn thing with those double pawns and the isolated? Isolated and doubled both. Bishop to h4, hit the rook. Rook goes to e2. I mean, now this poor bishop is stuck babysitting. Knight. Computer likes knight to h5. Bishop h2. Bishop takes c6. She decides bishop takes c6. Knight takes. Queen d6. Okay. White's desperately wants to trade these queens because when the pawn takes on c5, it reconnects the pawns. And he got a hell of an advantage here. Of course, she's not going to do that. Queen to c8. Still guarding the knight. Now put yourself in White's shoes. Katerina needs to win this game. Has any chance of winning the Women's U.S. Championship. And it doesn't look too good. And don't think for a minute that's not on your mind, because it is. Knight to d5. She's got to go for it. Rook d8. Rook takes. Queen takes. Still guarding the knight on c6. Knight to c7. Hitting the queen. Queen e4. Roundabout way protecting the knight, but still does. Queen. Bishop g3. Now, this is reversed now, as before. If queen takes, pawn takes, and these pawns are all connected. She doesn't want to do that. Knight to b5. What to do, what to do? It's tough. Queen e1. And this is where I think Katerina, as White, stumbles. Computer likes knight to d4. Start getting her pieces towards the White king. She plays knight to d6. And it looks like a very natural move. But it's a disaster. To give you an idea, it was dead even with knight to d4. And after knight to d6, it's an over 2-point advantage now for black. d4 would have saved the game. After knight takes, queen takes, it's still even. But she can't draw. It doesn't do her any good. So I think she went for it. Knight to e5. Guarding that f7 pawn. Queen checks. Give an idea if knight had taken. Knight takes, g takes, queen checks, king, queen, knight, queen. Still disaster for White. There's no way out of this. After king to g7, knight to e8 check, king to h6, desperately trying. She has to win this game. Knight f6, bishop f2, threatening mate, queen f8 check, king has to go to g5, trying to get some kind of mating net. Knight checks. The king slips. Look at this. The king is on f4. The black king. But here's the deal. It's safe there. Checks. King to e4. Can't get the king. Knight to g5 check. King to d3. And that's it. No more checks. As Jennifer Shahadi says, buenos, no checks. Give you an idea. And that's where Katerina Nemcova, as White, resigned. Her chance to win the championship is gone, but she played a hell of a tournament. Knight to f3. Knight takes. Queen. King takes. It all comes out the same. So, there you are, folks. It could backfire on you. She had to do a long variation. She probably didn't see that king go all the way to d3. And so it goes. Great tournament for Nazi. We'll see how they all do in the next round, round 11. But for now, I want you all to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.